Hey there. Check this out. If you know, baby. Double V's. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about something really unique. Let me move this a little bit out of the way here. There. You get the full face experience. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different on today's show. Is RV living expensive? The short answer is yes. You're like, it's an effing yes. It really is. It is a huge yes. RV living is not for the faint of heart. And at the same time, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, it depends. Depends on everything. It depends on if you have a 20-year-old motorhome, you picked it up for $1,000. Like, hey, yeah, RV living is super cheap. You bought a brand new one for $135,000. Like, yeah, it's not cheap. You know, like, it depends on what you want. Like maintenance for me, I'm looking at about $2,000 a year. That's spread out over time. That's not necessarily. It's not necessarily what? What is the word I'm looking for? It's not necessarily all at once, but it might be I have a low tire. I have some windshield washer fluid to pick up. I need to give it a bath every now and again, you know, that kind of thing. And a bath for my RV, last time I did it, it cost me $70. 70 Canadian dollars, which is like about $1.75 US. But anyway, like seriously, it cost me $70 last time I went to do this. The insurance on it for me, just for me, is ludicrous. So we're not going to count that because not everybody's going to be like that. If you're a new driver, you're going to be paying through the nose. If you've been driving for a while, you're good to go. And let's see, we've got monthly fuel. Okay, this is what I'm actually trying to figure out here. Monthly fuels, if I'm driving like all the time, it's $1,200 a month. That's roughly $400 a tank. So if I'm going through 3 tanks in a month, $1,200. That works out to roughly $14,400 in a year. So yeah, if I want to travel all over the US and just steady travel, it's going to cost me a lot of money. But if I live in a Walmart parking lot, as an example, well, then I don't have the $14,000 in fuel. So who cares? Then maybe it's only $400 a month. Big deal. But then I've also got things like my monthly propane cost. Now, a tank of propane for me, it's an 80-pound tank. That cost me approximately $75. Now, with that $75, what I'm looking at is really that can last me a whole month, unless it's cold out. If it's minus burr outside, then forget it. It's going to cost me more. But if it's warmer than burr and it's t-shirt weather, then what am I paying for propane for? Why? I don't need propane. I don't use it. But I've got a propane heater. I've thought about switching that out for, not a propane heater, but I was actually thinking about switching it out for a diesel heater, like a Webasto. And what I would do is, it's not going to be a diesel heater at that point. It's going to be a gasoline heater. But you get the basic idea. It's going to be a Webasto, small little unit. And what that would do is that would actually heat my home the same way as the propane heater does. It's just running off of my fuel tank rather than running off of my propane tank. That's the only real difference. You know, I like the fuel idea better than the propane idea. But 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really, is what it boils down to. Let's see, what else have I got going on? I've got monthly phone. My phone bill is stupid high. It really is. I just got a brand new, I'd show you my phone. Anyway, I'm recording on my phone, but my phone is a new phone. So that obviously cost me a lot of money. I got to pay for that thing every month. I got a stupid high bill because I've got, you know, not just a data plan. I've got like a mother-loving data plan. Like I've got data coming out the wazoo. So that cost me a lot of money. And then I'm also paying for Starlink. Starlink is approximately $170 a month Canadian. I don't know what that works out to be in honest US dollars, but just for giggles, we'll say it costs around 150 something, I think, US. It doesn't translate exactly. It doesn't. Because what I'm paying is 175, 178, something like that. But what you'd pay in the US is actually like 155, 160. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Like you're paying almost the same amount. But when you translate it into US dollars into Canadian, I'm actually paying less than the US does. But that's a whole other story. Groceries per month. I got wild with this when I said $500. Ballpark $500. Really, I probably only eat about $300 worth of food. Really, I mean, really, $300 probably what I eat, but I put down $500. So why not? So that's about $6,000 a year. And then there's Annual miscellaneous expenses. So things that I didn't see coming. Like I got a flat tire and I need to put, get a brand new flat tire, get a brand new tire that's obviously not flat, or need an oil change. Okay, that's not a miscellaneous expense. That's part of my annual maintenance because I've got to change the oil at least twice a year, probably 3 times a year, maybe even 4, depending on how much I drive. Then I would have to change my oil. I have to change the transmission fluid every once in a while. I have to get wiper fluid. I have to get, all the other things that go with it. I don't have a diesel pusher. I actually have a gasoline engine, and it's actually in the front. So that's the big thing. Diesel pushers are usually the diesel engine is in the back and the gasoline engine is in the front. Typically, that's how it works. It's not always, but that's typically how it works. So my cost, rounding up, because I'm still paying for it. It's a brand new RV, still paying for the RV, paying a ludicrous amount for insurance, paying, for stupid amounts of fuel, paying for all kinds of propane that really half the year I'm not using propane. If I go south, I'm not using propane for much of the year at all. But the idea is once I pay for all of the stuff, I'm looking at about $45,000. So that's campgrounds. That's insurance, that's maintenance, that's an RV payment of approximately $1,000 a month. So I mean, there's 2 huge expenses right there. So I'm paying $12,000 for the RV payment, $14,000 in fuel, $6,000 in food, $4,800 for Starlink and my phones, all that kind of stuff, and like it adds up fast. But here's the flip side to that: is you don't have to do that. You don't have to pay the stupid amount of insurance because you got a brand new RV and you've got a new license. Like you don't have to do that. So you don't have to pay high insurance on that one. You don't have to have the mega data package on your phone and the mega data package with Starlink. You don't have to have those things. You can just go with your phone. You can get a really good deal for 100 megabytes, or not megabytes. Wow. For 100 gigabytes, you can get a good deal on your phone. You can do this. It is possible. So you could cut down like the $500 a month in food. We could cut that down to a realistic 3. You could take your travel from $14,000 or $1,200 a month, and you could go $300. I'm not traveling anywhere, or $500. I travel a little. You could take out the campground costs, which could be anywhere from $30 a night to $100 a night. It's a huge thing. You live in the Walmart parking lot, it's free. You go random camping, it's free. You live by an industrial area and you move around every couple of days and you only go a couple of blocks. Well, then great. It only costs you about $400, $500 a month because you got to, fuel and whatever else. And like, okay, great. So it only costs you a few bucks there and you don't have to pay for the campgrounds, which is great. But realistically, this is like anything else. It can be as expensive as you want, or it can be as cheap as you want. Just like when you're living in sticks and bricks. Do you want a $500 a month? I'm just saying, I don't know what they actually go for. I'm just saying. So $500 a month for a 1-bedroom studio, which is honestly, not much bigger than where I'm at right now. So you could go with that. You could pay that. Or you could go with the $5,500 a month because you want a 5-bedroom mansion. Like, I don't know, what, maybe you get a 2-bedroom house in Toronto for $5,500. You get the idea. You could pay whatever you want. You could live wherever you like. You could live in a much smaller RV. You could live in a van, and that costs you next to nothing. That $400 a month is because you did drive around a lot. Whereas I've got a giant gas and pig of an engine. So like my engine's going to cost me a whole lot more than it's going to cost a van dweller. But then the van dweller, a lot of times they can't stand up. They're kind of doing one of these in their van and they're laying on the bed, putting their pants on. And meanwhile, I could stand up, go to another room and put my pants on. I could go to a different room, make myself some breakfast. I go to my bathroom. I don't have to pee in a jug. I can poop in a toilet. I don't have to worry about a bag in a bucket. Like it depends. What is your flavor? That's really where it's at. What is your flavor? That's what it boils down to. You could have a tow behind. You could have a big tow behind. You could have a small tow behind. You could have a great big diesel truck pulling it. You could have a small car pulling it. Whatever you want. I mean, there's obvious. You can't have a small car and a great big giant fifth wheel. That doesn't work. But you can have a very small camper and a very small car pulling it. You could live out of your car and spend $100 a month on gas because it takes a teaspoon at a time. Maybe it's whatever. You get the idea. Prius. You get the idea. Like you can drive whatever you want to drive. It's just a matter of what lifestyle do you want to live. For me, I don't want to live in a van. I mean, I love the nomadic lifestyle, but I don't want to live in a van. So what I do is I'm living in a much bigger vehicle. My eyes watering. Teasing, it was this eye. Anyway, I'm joking. And you know what? It's one of those things where, like I said, you can live whatever lifestyle you want. You can live as small as you want in a van where you have a bucket and you don't have any room for anything and you have to go outside to do everything. Or you could live in an RV like I do, a Class A motorhome, and you could live a completely different lifestyle. You know, it depends. Like me parking at a Walmart, I take up 2 spots. No, not really a big deal. You park away from the door, you take up your 2 spots, you're done. Move every day so you don't look like a jerk. Don't put a bunch of stuff outside so it looks like you're living there. And you know, don't make it look like that. Don't collect a bunch of garbage and throw a tarp over it and, you know, pretend that you're not living there when you're actually having no hopes of moving anywhere at all anytime soon. Like, don't be that guy. You could do that in a van. You could do that in a motorhome. I don't care what you do. Just don't do that. Don't do that. That's very bad. Just stop it. Stop living that way. That is not cool. Like I said, you can live out of a van. You could live in a car. You could live in a camper. You could live in a motorhome. You can live wherever you want and have this nomadic lifestyle. It's just a different flavor. You see, where the people living in a van live in a van and then they don't really go anywhere. I mean, some do. Some do. They really do. Some don't. They don't travel anywhere. Some people have taken their entire car, gutted it, made it into a camper bed in the back, and then they do everything out of their car. So when they want to make coffee in the morning, they have to get out of their car to make coffee because there's no room. And there's no way for the condensation to go anywhere. So they have to go outside of the car to make coffee. So they stick to the warmer climates. They don't ever go into the snow, really. You've got other people that live in a van that's been completely decked out. You know, it's a tall van. It's got the bed in the back. It's got the kitchen. It's got a seating area, you know, big wardrobe, all that stuff. Like, sure, you can live that lifestyle. You could go crazy like I did. I got a Class A motorhome. I have 4 beds altogether. And I'm never going to be using 4 beds at once. That is insane. But I have that. I have a dinette. I have a kitchen. I have a living room. I have a bedroom. I have a bathroom. You know, like I have features. I have amenities that for me and for my lifestyle, this is what I want. I don't want to live out of a van. And it's everybody's going to sit back and there's going to be a lot of people. I know somebody is in the comments already. And don't be shy. Comment. Seriously. Even if you're a troller, you're a hater, you're whatever, comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm open to dialogue. Now, what happens, a lot of people are going to say, well, you're living out of a motorhome. You're not really living the van lifestyle. Like, true, but false. I'm living a nomadic lifestyle, not specifically a van lifestyle. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you didn't build it, therefore it's not the same. Like, no, dude, no. I have ferocious plans to remodel and renovate my entire RV. We're going to take my bed platform. I'll actually take you through the van one of these days. I'll take you through the van and I'll show you what it is I'm going to do. I'm going to take the bed platform and I'm going to open it up a lot more. I'm going to have a wall down the middle, which obviously supports the main bed itself, but I'm going to have on one side, I'm going to have electrical stuff. And on the other side, I'm going to have everything that's not electrical. I'm going to have storage. I may have storage on the electrical side as well. I don't know. Maybe the electrical side currently is approximately 2.5 feet ish, maybe bigger, but you know, I think it's about 2.5 feet. And I'm going to shrink that down to an appropriate 6 inches. 6 inches? 6 inches is a lot, right? It's like big. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, it is huge. Anyway, what happens is I'm going to shrink that down to an appropriate size for the electrical, or I'm going to leave a big bay and then I'm going to have batteries in there. But I think most likely I'm actually going to shrink that down. I'm going to open up my storage space because, let's be real, you can never have enough storage. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the batteries outside, but I'm going to have to build a bay for the batteries to be because they're going to go from flooded batteries, lead acid batteries, and I'm going to go to like something along the lines of a LifePo 4. By the way, if you're watching and you happen to be a battery company like Renogy, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to collaborate with you. Anyway, you think about these things, and like, this is what I have to do. I have to build up this whole battery bay. You know, and I've got to do that. I've got a space. Honestly, it's that big, and it's up in my cupboard area, and I'm going to take this wall out and I'm going to move it all the way over to the end. So all that space, all of a sudden I have space now. So I can stick things back in the corner where I'm not using this every day, but I want to have it. And I can move it back there in a basket. So I can just grab the whole basket, pull it out, and I can reach whatever it is I'm looking for. You know, I'm going to do little things like that. I'm going to take apart a lot of I've put a couple things in there, like you saw where I put the hooks for the brooms. Okay, you saw where I did that. And if you haven't seen that, make sure you're subscribed. Okay, make sure you're subscribed. Give the videos a like so I know what you appreciate and what you don't, so I know what videos to make next. But like I said, it's 100% up to you. Like, this is going to cost me a ton of money. Like my miscellaneous expenses of $1,500. That might be 1 year I do the bed. Next year I redo the cupboards. I actually want to redo the entire bathroom cupboard system. I'm not a fan of the cupboards in the bathroom. They're functional, but there's so much dead space. And like, I want to take the cupboards out completely. I want to take the medicine cabinet out. I want to put brand new cupboards in. I want them to be bigger cupboards. I want them to have not this much room on the bottom of the cupboard, but I want to shrink it down to, you know, just the board on the bottom kind of thing. You know, I want to do that. And there's a lot of little things that I want to do, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So it's one of those things. Whether you live in a van or a motorhome or a camper, it doesn't matter. You're living a nomadic lifestyle. So it's not just a van life, it's a nomadic lifestyle. And that's what this channel is all about. It's not just about RVs. It's about vans. It's about campers. It's about cars. It's about whatever you drive, whatever you live in. It's about that, because it's about you. It's not just about me. It's about you. I'm sharing my life, but I'm sharing it so that you can relate. If you can relate, give the video a thumbs up for me. Let me know that you're into this kind of thing. Give it a like. Like I said, don't be shy. Subscribe. Tickle the little bell. Go all the way up to where it says all. Tickle that. Make sure you click on that one so you don't miss another episode of RV Dreams. For now, I shut my notebook, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Stay safe.